the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here to bring you my podcast for the week of 1/17/2020. That will be tomorrow when all the new music's out. So, of course, we're going to have the same usual topics. I will go over them again for those of you who have just started following. It has been a while since I've done one of these because of all my year-end lists, getting the new year started, getting the new school year started. Again, my last semester in college. So, great things going on there. But our normal topics, what's coming out tonight, being that, Friday, new music day. It's Thursday night. What I've been listening to this past week. Just a little update on what I've been listening to, whether it's the newer music, whether it's going back through some old stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then just if I have any reviews to get out, but I don't this week, those are usually just really short reviews, just talking about, like, if I didn't feel like they deserved a video on their own, and I just have just a few thoughts on them, just to get an idea out there for how I felt about it. And then finally, just a, weekly topic, just something different every single week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into what is coming out. So first off, we have tonight, actually, I believe it said 9 p.m. is when it should be dropping, is Dreamville's Revenge of the Dreamers 3 Deluxe Edition. That's just going to have a couple of the songs that didn't make the original album. They're going to be putting those out. It's going to have features such as Reason. Let's see, who else? Smino, Saba. Another Smino feature, Guapdad 4000. He had quite a few features on the original, so we're bringing him back. They got Black on there, and I love when he works with the Dreamville artists, so that'll be interesting to see. So that's what's going to be coming out first, and I am excited for that. I'll definitely be checking that out. I don't know if I'll probably get a review out for that, I'll say. If not, I'll definitely talk about it in one of these, just because it is like 12 new songs, so it is technically still, album length, even if it isn't going to be considered a real album, in my opinion. It's just a deluxe version of what has already come out. Other than that, the one I am definitely most excited for is Mac Miller's Circles. This is his direct sequel to Swimming, and this is his posthumous album. This is one that I'm excited about, just because, I love Mac Miller, and I think they're doing it the right way, putting this out. His family is okay with it. They actually are the ones who put out the announcement, but it's not like they're all over here announcing it all over the place and saying, like, oh, this is the last you'll ever hear of Mac Miller. No, they're not doing it the Extentacion way. They are doing it the right way, just saying, he would want this out. He made this for y'all. And we want everyone to get one last piece of him, because this is what he would have wanted. This isn't a money grab, nothing like that. Actually, I think a lot of the money will be going to charity anyways. So it's not a money grab by the label or anything like that, which I think is absolutely the right way to do it. I will say he does already have one single out for it, which I have not listened to, because I knew it came out last weekend. It was called Good News. It came out last weekend, like I said, and I knew this was coming out this weekend. So I was like, you know what? Let me step back, not listen to any of the singles. That way I can pick up on the album the way it is intended to be listened to. Not that I think anything's wrong with singles, just being that it's not that long of a wait for the album, just 7 days. Figured, you know what? I'll just hold out and see what I think of it. First listen through like that. Other than that, a couple that I might get to, a couple I might not. Particularly if I feel like doing a bad review. Blueface is supposed to have an album coming out. It's called Find the Beat. This is the one that I mentioned on a podcast like a month or so ago, that they thought the release date was going to be then. It got pushed back for whatever reason. I don't know, and I don't feel like looking into it too much because it's Blueface. But, I will try to go into that one with an open mind, although unless he did any major changing, this one's going to get stunk up pretty good. And then other than that, maybe Stunner for Vegas, and maybe if I'm stretching, I'll do the Professionals project. We'll see. Those are kind of long shots if I'm actually going to get a review out. Even if I'm going to talk about it on my next podcast, I can't tell you. Just if I like them on the first 2 or 3 tracks, I might listen to the whole thing and get a review out. If I hate the first 2 or 3 tracks, I'm just gonna stop there. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's what's coming out. If you're excited for any of those, also Raekwon has a little 3-song EP coming out. Probably check that out. Definitely won't get a review out for that because it's only 3 songs. It's not going to be worth doing a whole review for, although I do expect good things from Raekwon, of course. So yeah, that's what's going to be coming out this weekend. So let's go ahead and talk about what have I been listening to. So this week I've kind of, other than the new albums that I already have reviews out for, the Aha Gazelle project, I've listened to that quite a bit. Other than that, I've been actually making a concerted effort to listen to discographies of artists that are some of my favorite artists, but they're not like artists that I listen to all the time. So, like I have my favorite artists like Kendrick, Denzel, Kanye, people like that who I listen to all the time. And then I have these other artists that I love, and I love their music, and I think they are some of the best in the rap game, but I don't particularly listen to them often. For example, people I've been listening to, I am currently doing Vince Staples' discography. I am on Summertime right now, and I love that project. I think it's his best, but I'm going to be going through his whole discography all the way through FM, of course. Other artists I did, Flatbush Zombies, who again, they're some of my favorite. They're one of my favorite rap groups that I love whenever they put out new albums. And I listened to Vacation in Hell so many times when it came out in 2018. But just with all the new music that comes out, and then still trying to keep up with my favorite artists, and then still trying to keep up with, okay, occasionally I need to listen to some 90s artists. I always let these current artists kind of go by the wayside. I might get into some Earl Sweatshirt once I finish Vince. Let's see if I'm leaving. I don't want to leave anyone out because it has actually been pretty fun. I listened to King Push, Darkest Before the Dawn, The Prelude by Pusha T, of course. That's just one that, whenever I say, I want to listen to Pusha T, I usually go to Daytona because it is regarded as his best and it is his most recent. But I remember falling in love with King Push when it came out in I believe 2015. I remember falling in love with that project, and so I really wanted to go back to that one. And then also I listened to East Atlanta Love Letter by Black. That's just one that I kind of didn't listen to that much whenever it first came out, and I'm kind of picking up on listening to it a little bit more now. I love tracks on it originally, and now I'm picking up on even more, so I'm glad I got into it. And then I listened to, of course, Mac Miller's discography because he's got his album coming out, so I wanted to be fresh on everything that he's put out. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to. Finally, we get to it. Feature topic. I feel like it's extremely relevant right now. And like I was just talking about it earlier in the video, what are my thoughts on posthumous albums? So, very mixed opinions on these. Like I said, I think Mac's family is absolutely doing it the right way, where it's not just a cash grab by the label or anything like that, but they're actually putting it out as a way to almost like a send-off to him. Like, this is what he would have wanted. This is going to be his last words to the public. This is what everyone's going to remember him as. This is who he was. This is where his life was headed. And I think that's great. I think that's amazing. It sounds like that is what he wanted. Obviously, he wrote that album as a sequel to Swimming, and so it'll be nice to see how he came out after Swimming. Obviously, that one having a lot of talks about just being depressed and stuff like that, but according to the Twitter account Hip Hop Numbers and the math they did, he has more bars about swimming than he does drowning, so he was winning the battle at the time, and so I want to see where Circles brings us. But a lot of posthumous albums, they are put out very just like cash grabs, Extentacion. I'm not a personal huge fan of his music while he was alive. I like his tapes. They're not bad, 17, ? Whatever. They're good. And I enjoy quite a few songs on them, and they're decently cohesive projects, but overall he was never one of my favorite artists. But seeing what they've put out now since he's died with Skins, I'm not a big fan of his posthumous projects. Like, they just they're not very cohesive. They sound like just a bunch of songs that were unfinished that the label threw together real quick. Had no real plan for a storyline in the project. Just threw them together real quick, placed them randomly just so they could make money off of the music that he had recorded before he passed. And I think that's wrong. I think it's disrespectful, and that's why I don't review his posthumous albums, because I don't want to give a bad review to him, because then it comes off as him putting out bad work, which again, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but it's not him who's putting out this work. Like, yes, he recorded the music, but there's a reason he didn't release it while he was alive. He knew he could do better. The label doesn't care, though. They just put it out because it can make them money, which I think is extremely wrong, extremely disrespectful. When it comes to people like Tupac, I know that a lot of his music was put out, of course, by with his family's approval. Some of the money goes to them, of course. I think his earlier works were definitely more approved, and of course they're better. They're just overall better. His later works kind of dig into that more, like, okay, I feel like they're cash grabbing now, and like they're getting different artists on here from today that never even knew Tupac. Like, I remember on Loyal to the Game, there was an Eminem feature on there, and well, this was while Eminem was spazzing out on drugs, so it was a horrible feature. But even Tupac wasn't that great on any of the songs there. But like I said, very mixed feelings. It really just depends on, like, is the label doing this to make themselves money? Is that all they care about, or are they trying to cement the artist's legacy, cement what they stood for with releasing the project? Would they have approved of releasing the project, or is it just randomly placed tracks just to get some streams? I think that there's a big difference between the two. Like I said, with Tupac's earlier posthumous albums, they were a lot more focused. They had a storyline going about them, and I mean, they spoke to today, like in the day that they were released, and even now. So that's why a lot of people were like, okay, is he still alive? Is he still recording music? Because it sounded like, he was recording these now and releasing them, not recording them 5-10 years before, and then they were just being released as pre-recorded music. Yeah, overall, I want it to be something out of respect for the artist, not so much just to get new music out. Because yes, fans will enjoy new music, but I mean, it's even a disservice to the fans who really enjoyed the artist, who really cared about the artist. Because even then, you're not getting the best work by that artist, and you're not getting the vision that they would have wanted. Because I feel like a big part of enjoying the artist isn't just enjoying the music they put out, but enjoying it in the way they wanted it put out, in the vision that they wanted. Like, imagine, you have Kendrick. He's one of these artists who always puts out really great storytelling projects, from Good Kid, Mad City, telling the story of like one night or one weekend in Compton, where he's a good kid, but living in that city causes him to do bad things, coming around finding God, but still being trapped in the city. To Pimp a Butterfly, having so many storylines in it that are all fully cohesive. That, again, best album of all time. And Damn, being the storyline of someone going from being a wicked person, trying to find weakness in his life, living the meek life as shown to him by Jesus, transitioning through that, or listening to it backwards and having the opposite. Always having these deep messages. Imagine, say, if he would have passed away, and people just found random clippings of his music and just threw them together on an album, had no storyline and anything like that. Of course, yes, they would still be good songs. It would be like constantly getting Untitled Unmastered, which again is good, but that's knowing that he just put that out to hold us over, to say, I'm working on more stuff, but here you go, here's some of my unreleased music. But that's what you're getting then. If they're trying to package it as a real album just to try to get you hyped for it, then it's different. It's completely different. So that's my feelings on that. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section, and let me know what you think about like what's coming out, what you've been listening to lately. If there's anything you want me to get to reviewing within this coming week, or anything that coming up in the future that you want me to keep my eye out for, just hit me up in the comment section about that. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos so some of your friends can see it and subscribe. Hit the bell next to my name for notifications for whenever I post new videos, and I will be hitting y'all up with some reviews next week.